top 10 catchers of the 2025 season. This is not a prediction list for next year. This is purely based on how these guys caught in 2025. Who were the actual 10 best catchers? And then we're also going to kind of compare the preseason list we had when we did try to predict who the top 10 catchers were going to be for this season. And so we got to start that out by just getting through the guys real quick who we had in the preseason top 10. We thought we were going to be top 10 catchers in 2025. And ultimately, we're not top 10 catchers. And we're going to start that off with Ivan Herrera of the St. Louis Cardinals. Big problem, he didn't really catch. So it can't be a top 10 catcher if he didn't catch. I guess he's a DH now. Didn't play all that much in general. He still missed a lot of time. But even when he was on the field, too much DHing, not enough catching. And just FYI, this list is based not just on like WAR or anything like that. I made up my own formula to try to fairly value how much each of these guys did for their teams this year. So we're not just going straight off of WAR or anything like that. Now, another guy who missed the top 10 was Adley Rutschman. A very disappointing season for him. He did only play 90 games, maybe tried to play through some injuries, because even when he did play, he wasn't the Adley that we expected. He was our preseason number 3. Obviously did not make the top 10. Our preseason number 8 was Yainer Diaz. He also did not make the top 10. The big thing for Diaz is he's supposed to be a really, really good hitter. You see, the last 2 years, he was really great at the plate. But in 2025, was a below average hitter. And he doesn't bring the most defensive value either. So he really needs to be doing it with his bat. It just didn't happen for him this year. Preseason number 4 was Gabriel Moreno. He also did miss the top 10. Unlike Diaz and Rutschman, Moreno actually played really well when he was on the field, but similar to everybody else who missed the top 10 that we had in the preseason top 10, he just didn't play a whole lot. He did have some major injury problems that he had to deal with, so he only ended up playing 80 games. When he was on the field, those 80 games were spectacular. Not on the field enough to stack up the value that the other catchers inside the top 10 did. Now, let's actually get to the top 10 list and start that out with the 10th best catcher of the 2025 season, Austin Wells of the New York Yankees. Our preseason number 5. He played 122 games, so we see the quantity there. He stayed on the field a good bit. Roughly a league average hitter, a 94 WRC plus, which for a catcher is basically average, if not even a little bit above average for a catcher at the plate. His counting numbers were there. He got the runs, he got the RBIs, and the biggest plus for him is he's very good defensively. At the number 9 spot, we have the rookie Drake Baldwin of the Atlanta Braves. He exploded onto the scene this year with an amazing rookie year. His defense wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't a massive liability. And then what he did at the plate was spectacular. 125 WRC plus with 80 RBIs and 124 games played is really good. And so he's really started to establish himself as one of the catchers of the future. Then at the number 8 spot is Patrick Bailey, our preseason number 6. Now Patrick Bailey did exactly what we expect him to do. He plays insanely good defense, and his hitting is a massive liability, but that defense is just so incredibly valuable at the most important defensive position, no less. And honestly, just when ranking catchers in general, the tough balance is trying to figure out how to value that offense and that defense and how to combine those, because you have a guy like him who does so much on the defensive end and earns so much value for his team there, and then it's such a pain at the plate. And then you have other guys who are incredible at the plate but massive liabilities defensively, and trying to compare those two types of players can be very intriguing. But if you're somebody who really values catcher's defense, you're definitely going to want Patrick Bailey up there on this list. If you really value the offense, then you're probably going to want to push him off the list. I tried my best to find the middle ground. May have gone a little bit too much towards offense this year. May have gone too much towards defense last year. We're trying to find the middle. Now, number 7 on this list is Dylan Dingler, another newcomer. He is a slightly more balanced version of Patrick Bailey. Really good defensively, not as much of a liability at the plate as Bailey is. Actually, league average offensively, right? Even a little bit better than league average. So not a menace at the plate, but definitely not like a hole in your lineup. He had a 109 WRC plus. Now with the next 2 spots, we kind of flipped the coin from Dingler and Patrick Bailey, who are really defensive centric and earning a lot of value with their defense, to the next 2 guys really not doing so great on the defensive end, but doing a lot on the offensive end. And we're going to start that out with the number 6 catcher in the 2025 season, Shea Langeliers. 132 WRC plus, over 30 home runs, and over 70 RBIs and runs scored. Really good offensively. Then at the number 5 spot, we have the antithesis of Patrick Bailey, and that's Will Smith of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Will Smith was our preseason number 9. He had a 151 WRC plus this year and a 296 batting average, so an absolute menace at the plate. One of the absolute best hitting catchers in the entire league. And also one of the worst defenders. Negative 10 outs framing. That is 56th of 57 qualified catchers measured in that stat. And I don't say that to say Will Smith is trash or anything like that. He's very good in different ways. But when you see somebody with a 150 WRC plus this low on the list, there has to be some massive hole in the game, and that massive hole is framing, which will become significantly less valuable moving forward, but in 2025 definitely hurt him a lot. Number 4 spot, we have another newcomer, and that is Hunter Goodman of the Colorado Rockies. He had solid defense and an incredible bat. Really carried the only offense the Rockies had last year. Then at the number 3 spot, we have William Contreras, our preseason number 1. He improved his defense from 2024. The offense was a bit of a disappointment, but still well above average offensively. 113 WRC plus for him. Then at the number 2 spot, we have Alejandro Kirk of the Toronto Blue Jays, our preseason number 7. Similar to William Contreras, he had a 116 WRC plus. Then he played 130 games with some incredible defense. One of the best defensive catchers in the league. I mean, he is in the 100th percentile of defensive value. That's how crazy he is on the defensive end. He's the best in the league when it comes to blocking. He's the second best in the league when it comes to framing behind Patrick Bailey. And obviously he has way better offense than Patrick Bailey too. Then at the number 1 spot, this should be no surprise, it's Cal Raleigh, the best offensive catcher in the entire game, and really good defense. He was our preseason number 2, but we all know he was the best catcher this year. I don't think there's any question to that. He was one of the most valuable players in the entire game. So that's our list. Make sure to follow, because later on we will be coming back and giving our top 10 catchers moving into the 2026 season.